What's going on, Fit Fam? Yours truly, Natt with Natt Fitness, and I'm excited because I get the opportunity to talk to you about something that I cannot tell you how many times I've been asked this question or what's been going on. I almost want to call it the great debate. This is what it is, right? Nick, should I go for more weight if I'm training and I'm getting into this weight training thing, or maybe I should go for more reps, right? Because I'm not trying to build, I just kind of want to tone up. Should I go lighter weight or more repetitions, or heavier weight and less repetitions? Okay, this is why I call that the great debate, because the reality is there's rationale behind both, but it's also a lot of propaganda and a lot of this. So why do I say that? I say that because at the end of the day, everything that we do in the gym, just like if you're gonna go and you're gonna eat food, has utility. If I go when I wake up and I have a piece of fish and some vegetables and some rice, that's gonna be very different than if I go out and I have cornbread and fried chicken. Now, I'm not talking about that so much because it's like, hey, you should eat one and not eat the other, but they're clearly gonna have different impacts on the body. Well, if you're going to the gym and you're asking yourself, what is my focus and my goal, and you don't know because you're just strength training for the sake of strength training, there is no reason why you're going to decide one or the other, except for maybe you shouldn't go and crazy lift heavy weight because you're more likely to get hurt. At the same time, it's very easy by doing a number of repetitions where you're going to overstress your joint. And so the first question in this that I always respond back with the question that I get, should you lift heavier weights and lighter reps, or should you go with more repetitions and lighter weight, is what is the goal? If you are a person who's trying to focus on scaling the amount of muscle, meaning you want the amount of muscle in your body to go up, not necessarily because you want to gain weight, but just as a whole, you want to have more muscle, you want to have more of an aesthetic, rounded body appeal, or if you are the person who is trying to go up, then the reality is this, you kind of need to do both. You want to lift as heavy as you possibly can under a certain framework. We call that 1 rep max. There's a percentage of how much weight you want to use, but you should also be trying to use that heavier weight as frequent as possible. So let's say someone's like, well, I want to get a bigger butt, Nick, right? Like I want to get booty, I want to have, shelf booty. Or guys are like, I want to have the shelf, I want to have a chest. Well, the reality is this is a perfect example of when you want to do both, right? Because going to the gym and lifting heavier weight overloads the muscle in a certain way, but also being able to force a certain number of repetitions and making sure that you're using the right tension is a modality that we use to overstimulate the muscle. So it's not as simple as saying, okay, well, let's just break the muscle. Well, there's a myriad of ways in how we do that. If we are having the conversation, the first piece is, I'm gonna go to the gym and I wanna focus on actually getting tighter. I heard that this weight training thing is super important. It's critical to helping me stimulate my metabolism, and that's also gonna help me burn fat more efficiently. Everything about that has rights. Okay, Nick, so then should I focus on lifting more weights or more repetitions and not as much weight? No, you should still apply yourself and put heavy weight, but yes, you're gonna focus on maybe doing more volume. Now that's also different if you're doing a compound movement or versus if you're doing an isolation movement. If you're doing something that is isolation focused, meaning I'm just focusing on a very particular part, my anterior delts or my medial delts, or I'm focusing on abs, or I'm focusing on chest, you're probably gonna notice yourself focusing on more time under tension protocol. Time under tension being that it's not so much how many reps you're doing, it is the amount of time the muscle is actually occupied. Here's a perfect example. If I put a barbell on my back and I decide I'm gonna do some squats, great technique. Whether you're in body pump class, whether you're at the gym, or whether you're just at home with a fixed bar, doing it in the comfort of your basement, right? Squatting either way. Now let's say that person A is squatting and they're doing 12 reps. Person B is squatting and they're doing 12 reps. And person C is squatting and they're doing 12 reps, and they're of relatively equal caliber genetically, and roughly they're doing about the same weight. Well, you would think that the results are going to be straight across the board. But let's say this person goes up and down and they knock out their 12 reps and they're like, well, I did 12 reps, right? You said to go up, you said to go down, I executed that. And this person does it up and down. But the last individual takes that repetition slower, we call that the eccentric phase. Going up, we call that the concentric phase. And the amount of time that they were under duress with tension on their back or the muscles activating was almost 5 times longer than person A and almost 2.5 times longer than this person. What science shows is that this person is actually going to make the best progress, the best gains. So should you challenge yourself with weight? Absolutely. Should you focus on trying to do as much weights as possible or as many reps? Depending on what you're doing, right? If you're a runner, that might be very different than if you're an athlete or an avid weight trainer, you're trying to focus on size. But if you're actually trying to cultivate the best results, you wanna make sure that as you're lifting the weight, the range of motion, the time under tension, how efficiently and how long you're actually lifting the weight are your primary advocates, because without that, you're probably gonna skew results and you're not gonna understand why. And this leads me to the other part of the conversation. People ask these questions because they've probably tried one or the other, if not both. And they're in a position where they're saying, okay, I've done this thing. I'm very clear about the expectation of the results that I want, but I'm not seeing the kind of changes in the body. And they become discouraged, and then you stop. Then you have to go through this whole entire process and wait for the next fitness fad from Joe Schmo on Instagram who says that he's got the ticket, or this person who's on YouTube who has all these followers that they paid for, who's telling you that they have the way because, you know, they drink bone broth or whatever the hell they do, and this is the secret. And the reality is that people have been efficiently working out and using the most basic exercises and seeing results for a lifetime now, longer than I've been alive, probably longer than you've been alive. Sticking to the basics works. Making sure that you're very clear about what you're doing, and if you don't know, if you can't say for certainty and with conviction, yes, I know what I'm doing, or I'm seeing the kind of results, or I've done the results, I can get there, then you probably are in a position where you can go and seek help. And if that is you, I encourage you to do two key things. First and foremost, definitely like the video because I just basically told you the key secret. And in that, make sure you share that video, right? Because there's probably people that you know, if you're asking yourself these questions, or if you found yourself in this dilemma of trying to figure out, you know, which side of the bridge do you need to cross, there's people out there who feel the exact same way as you do. And so share this video, like it. Being able to do that is gonna allow me to bring other great topics just like this one and be able to talk about it in a way that might be able to help you get closer to achieving that goal or that physique that you're actually looking for. The last thing is, you're probably in a position where you want to get more of the know-how, right? Okay, Nick, I totally subscribe to what you're saying, or some of this sounds great. How do I get more information? Or more importantly, what's the next thing that I should be doing? Well, that answer is probably gonna come from you reaching out and connecting with me. So make sure that you guys download my ebook, Abs, Energy, and Confidence. That will plug you into my social media. It will also plug you into my website. And there you can connect with me personally and ask the questions and figure out how I might be able to serve you the way I've been able to help countless other people find answers to their questions and solutions. And that's ultimately what this is about. If we're not here to level up and get better, what are we here for? So ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you taking the time to connect with me. And until next time, my friends, this is Natt with Natt Fitness, signing off.